Cowboys Nation, stop what you're doing because we've got great news to talk about, and it starts with star cornerback Trevon Diggs. After weeks of uncertainty, doubt, and worry about whether one of the Cowboys' most electric playmakers would be ready to go, the latest update has fans breathing a sigh of relief. This is the kind of injury news that can completely shift the energy around training camp and preseason, and we're breaking it all down right here. Plus, we're diving into the latest on Micah Parsons, his status, and what's being said about his role in 2025. And of course, it's that time of year roster cut talk is heating up. Who's safe, who's on the bubble, and could a name like Phil Maffa sneak his way into the final roster? Stick with me, because by the end of this breakdown, you'll know exactly where the Cowboys stand and what it means for their chances heading into the season. So let's start with the headline, Trevon Diggs. Cowboys fans have been holding their breath since that tough injury last season, wondering if the Pro Bowl cornerback would come back at full strength, or if we'd be looking at a cautious, slow ramp-up. But here's the reality: the latest reports out of Dallas are nothing short of encouraging. Diggs has been moving fluidly, showing no lingering effects, and most importantly, demonstrating the kind of explosiveness that makes him one of the league's most feared ball-hawking corners. Coaches have praised not just his physical recovery, but also his mental approach, noting that Diggs hasn't lost an ounce of confidence in his game. For a Cowboys defense that thrives on turnovers, having Diggs fully healthy could mean the difference between a solid defense and a truly dominant one. Remember, before his injury, Diggs was leading the league in interceptions and was a game-changer every single week. Opposing quarterbacks had to think twice before testing him. Now, it looks like that threat is officially back. And the ripple effect is massive. With Diggs back to form, the Cowboys can run more aggressive coverages, free up safeties to play downhill, and give Dan Quinn, or rather the new defensive leadership, more flexibility to disguise looks. It also takes pressure off the younger corners, who no longer have to carry the weight of shutting down elite receivers on their own. In short, Diggs' health doesn't just make the secondary better, it makes the entire defense scarier. Fans should be excited because this is the kind of news that can change the ceiling of the team's defense heading into the season. Now let's pivot to Micah Parsons, the heart and soul of the Dallas defense. Parsons has been the subject of endless discussion this offseason. Is he strictly a pass rusher? Will he take on more hybrid linebacker responsibilities again? Can he elevate his game to an even higher level? Well, here's the latest. Parsons has been vocal about wanting to be unleashed, and by all accounts, the Cowboys are planning to give him every opportunity to do just that. The staff knows that Parsons is not just a great player, he's the kind of rare talent who can take over games single-handedly. Reports from camp suggest he's in phenomenal shape, quicker than ever off the edge, and ready to make life miserable for opposing quarterbacks. But what's just as important is the leadership role he's taking. Coaches and teammates have noticed that Parsons isn't just making plays, he's making the guys around him better, holding them accountable, and setting the tone. That kind of presence matters as much as sacks or pressures. If Diggs is the lockdown security blanket in the secondary, Parsons is the relentless engine up front. Put those two forces together, and suddenly Dallas has the makings of a defense that could rival anyone in the NFL. Of course, as exciting as the Diggs and Parsons news is, we can't ignore the reality that roster cuts are looming, and every year, there are surprises. Let's talk about Phil Maffa for a moment. The rookie running back has been turning heads, showing power, balance, and an ability to push for tough yards. With the Cowboys trying to reestablish their identity on the ground, Maffa has a real shot at making the roster if he can continue to impress. But the running back room is crowded, and that means some tough decisions are coming. The same goes for other position groups. Wide receiver depth is being tested, the offensive line is battling injuries, and even on defense, there are bubble players fighting for their NFL futures. Every preseason game matters, every practice rep is a chance to prove yourself, and fans should keep an eye on how these battles shake out. The Cowboys are known for making a few surprise moves, and this year will be no different. When you combine the great news about Diggs, the dominance of Parsons, and the intrigue around cuts, you start to see a clearer picture of this Cowboys team. They're loaded with talent at the top, but depth decisions will determine whether they're built for a deep playoff run or vulnerable if injuries strike again. That's why these updates are so critical. They're not just headlines, they're clues to the bigger story about where this team is headed. If you're a Cowboys fan, you have to feel more optimistic today than you did a few weeks ago. A healthy Trevon Diggs makes this defense elite. A hungry Micah Parsons makes them dangerous. And smart roster management could be the final piece that turns potential into production. So here's the bottom line, Cowboys Nation, celebrate the Diggs news. Be excited about Parsons. But keep your eyes glued to those roster battles, because that's where the real drama of preseason lives. And as always, we'll be right here keeping you updated on every twist and turn. If you're fired up about this Cowboys season, do me a favor, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts on the biggest winner or loser of training camp so far, and most importantly, make sure you're subscribed with notifications on so you never miss a single Cowboys update. We've got more breaking news, analysis, and bold predictions coming your way, and you won't want to miss it. This is shaping up to be a special year, and it all starts with moments like this great news on Trevon Diggs, momentum building for Micah Parsons, and the battles that will define the 2025 Dallas Cowboys. Stay tuned, Cowboys fans, because this ride is just getting started.